I cheated on my husband with his brother, and I have no regrets. Story time. Me and my husband were high school sweethearts. We got married when we were 20, and then we had our daughter when we were 26. And then we welcomed our son a few months later. I was working a really successful job, and we were living the life we'd always dreamed of in high school. My husband would shower me with flowers, gifts, he'd treat our kids like absolute royalty. But then over time he started to get, more and more distant with us. I'd catch him on his phone secretly, and this really began to break down my trust. And that was when I discovered that he was having an affair. We did talk about this, and he said that he didn't feel fulfilled in the relationship anymore and that I'd become really distant. But this was just because I was working so hard to provide for the family since he didn't have a job. And I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted to leave the marriage at this point, but I decided to stay for the sake of our kids. We decided that it might be good to try out couples counselling. And I'm not gonna lie, for the first few months, it really worked, and we were back to our usual happy selves. Again, the cycle continued, he got really distant, and when I confronted him about it, he confessed to having more affairs and spending nights at other women's houses. He had even had other women in our home, in our bed. What is that about? I moved him into the guest bedroom because I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't even bear to look at this man at this point. Throughout all of this, my husband's brother Steve became my main support network. Steve was there for us all of the time. He would pick them up for school, he would look after them, he would make tea when I was working late. This went on for 2 years. 2 years! And at this point, my children started to call Steve Dad. Me and Steve were spending a lot of time together, and I'm not gonna lie, we both absolutely loved it. We really clicked. So for Christmas one year, he actually booked me, my husband, and our kids a trip to Fiji. Fiji! Steve was desperate for me and his brother to try and fix things. However, when my husband found out, he told us to F off. Like, babe, it's Fiji. Let's just go for the free holiday. He then just outright refused to go. In the comments, is anyone else turning down a free trip to Fiji? Because I know I'm not. Then had a screaming argument about it. He was saying how he's not going away with our little brats. He called our kids brats. He said that his kids weren't his anymore and they were mistakes anyway. And I'm not gonna lie, this one really upset me and kind of threw me off a little bit. So I thought about it for a little while and realised that this trip was going to happen, but I didn't want to go on my own with 2 kids. So naturally, I asked Steve. So this is now up to date. We went on holiday a week ago. Me, Steve, and all of the kids had an absolute blast. One of the best holidays I have ever been on. And my kids had such an incredible time with Steve. It makes me so happy knowing that they're gonna grow up with a father figure like him. So on this trip, we obviously, got it on.